Good morning, everyone. This is Cassie Stumo. I am the marketing specialist here at EAC. We'll start off today with an intro of EAC from our associate account manager, Justin Crowther. Then Emily Pinto from PTC will be presenting to us on the top reasons why you should upgrade to PTC's new Creo packaging. Everyone gets a recording of the session pending any technical difficulties. Please feel free to ask questions along the way and we'll answer them after the presentation. I'll go ahead and hand things off to Justin.
Good morning, everyone. Start off, of course, I am the Associate Account Manager here at EAC, and first I'd like to start with our mission, which is to transform the way companies design, manufacture, connect to, and service our products. And we are not only a value-added reseller for PTC, but we are the #1 solutions provider for PTC in the country with experts in 22 areas of product development. We're located all over the US with our headquarters in Minneapolis. We offer our customers everything they need for product development, such as Creo CAD software for product design, service lifecycle management software for managing service documentation, and software that helps you manage your product data, such as Windchill, ThingWorx Navigate, and our customizable EAC productivity apps. We implement the Internet of Things and augmented reality into business strategies to jumpstart initiatives around digital transformation and connecting all things in your company. We assist with design and engineering projects like FEA, simulation, reverse engineering, and proof of concepts for our customers. And we offer webinars and PTC certified training courses for continuous learning. We are also a commercial reseller for Formlabs, offering their latest products in additive manufacturing. The Form 3 is now available with packages starting at $3,499. So keep us in mind. We have solutions to help your organization save time and money throughout the product development process. Thank you for taking time to listen to who we are, and I'll hand it over to Emily so she can get started.
Hi, I'm Emily Pinto. I'm an application engineer at PTC. So talking today about the top reasons why you should upgrade to PTC. So here are a breakdown of a couple of our different extensions, technologies that we offer. If you go on to EAC's website, you can get all the information that you need about what technologies are right from you from Creo and PTC. So the main reasons that we like to talk about that Creo can really help develop your business, develop your products, is because it allows you to accelerate your product innovation. It allows you greater reuse of any designs, saving you time and money, and replacing assumptions with facts so that you're making the best products you can possibly make. So we're going to talk about this in kind of three groups. So first, I'm going to give a demonstration showing a couple of the capabilities that we have inside Creo that help you accelerate that product innovation. So ideation, creation, and modification are easier than ever. And we're going to go through two different extensions, our freestyle design and our design exploration that are going to help you do that. We also have greater reuse of any designs. So here we're going to talk about two extensions that help you reuse old designs that you have, designs from external CAD systems, so non-native data, and giving you the power of choice for how exactly you want to be able to use that. So we're going to talk about our Unite technology here, which is really powerful. And then last, I'm going to show a demonstration about replacing assumptions with facts inside Creo. So this is really about bringing your product data, all the information that you have on how your product's behaving inside of the Creo environment. We're going to go through a couple of extensions here that talk about that, and then using simulation, FEA, to really know exactly how your product's going to behave when you get that new design out in the real world. So, making sure things are right and making sure things are the best they can be. So I'm going to jump now into my demonstrations. And here we're going to start with that accelerating your product innovation. So first we're going to talk about our freestyle design. So here we're going to open this camera that we have on our little robot gripper. You see we have all of this really great organic design, surface design. And this is really easy to do using the Freestyle design. And this actually comes with Creo, so this isn't even an extension. As you see here, we have all of these different nodes. So this is going to be our subdivisional modeling tool. And what that means is that we start with a shape, a basic shape like a cube or a sphere, and then we break it up into these nodes every time we want to pull a piece into a different spot. So being able to really easily develop this shape. So you'll see that here. We just select the nodes that we want to move, and then we can pull on it in whatever direction that we want. So really kind of molding your product like a ball of clay. So if you need to come up with a new design and you don't want to take so much time to try to come up with these parametric designs just in order to see what you want it to look like, or if you have a really great design and you want to get it down into 3D space quickly, while you're still thinking of it, these are great things to do, as well as that really high quality surfacing with really low, a low amount of training. It's not going to be a difficult surfacing tool to learn. You really are just pulling it. It's very intuitive. So it's a great thing to add. And of course, this is inside Creo Parametric, so it's going to be very easy to access. Everyone's going to have it with their Creo license. So now I'm coming into this design exploration session. So design exploration is one of our extensions. So this is, part of some kind of packaging or separate from that original license. And what it's going to do is it's going to help you manage different versions of your model. So the way it works is you open a session and you can name it so that you can revisit everything that you have in there later. And what it does is it opens this checkpoint tree right next to your model tree. So it brings in the model that you were just modeling in Creo, and it has that already saved as that entry checkpoint. So as you make modifications to your model, you're going to save checkpoints as you like different versions. So, you make a change, you save a checkpoint, and then you can revisit that later after you make, other modifications. You can always come back to that point. So the entry checkpoint allows you to always be able to come back to this point when you opened the session. So you don't have to keep, save as, creating new folders, creating new branches of folders. Everything's going to be managed here for you with these checkpoints, and there's going to be no risk of overriding that original model because you have that entry checkpoint already saved. So you know that that's going to be safe for you to come back to if you end up not liking your modifications. So let's look at what this looks like. We'll do a little bit more of our freestyle modeling here. I'm sorry, our freestyle modeling or freestyle design. And we can just make some surface changes. So, this might be a minor surface change. It might be, as we're going to do here, appearance changes. But this could be anything. This could be a new idea, a new product update, something drastic if you wanted it to be. And then, with that, you can branch off from there as well on those checkpoints. So here we're going to change our appearance. This is another thing that is great from inside Creo. We have all of these great options for choosing the color and the surface texture that we want. So here we can choose, an orange and control that in a number of different ways. And now we can get a better idea of what our product's going to look like. So if we really like this orange, we think this is a good one to release for the new season maybe, or the new, I don't know, the new update. We can save that color and save those bumps that we have into that checkpoint. So now we can come back, maybe in a design review, we can come back to that later. Now what we're doing now is we're opening this lens cover that is a new piece that we want to add. So just doing some of our basic modeling here, doing a basic extrusion, and we want to shell that out so it's just the outside, and we can accept our design. And then from there, we can put the end of the lens cover on. So if we want to activate that outline and bring in that flat piece for the end of it. And now we have the ability to change those appearances to match as well. So really just being able to play around in here with the plastics. You know, we want a plastic look to it. We think that's the material that we're going to use. So we want to see how that's really going to look. And we can just select whatever it is that we want to model, change that color to. And if we like our changes, if we like this point, we can add a checkpoint. So, hey, let's come back to this later. And these are checkpoints that, you know, you might not save these modifications if you were doing a save as in all separate files, because they're relatively minor modifications here for this appearance. And if this is not, you know, the main selling point of the object, you know, for this gripper robot, the appearance of the camera probably isn't the biggest selling point. So these are great little checkpoints we can save that would have been too much of a hassle, would have been too many files to manage before. And of course, if it is major changes, if appearance is what, you know, that this would sell on, you know, that's the whole point of this, is to be able to see every possible design that you could come up with and compare them all right in a row, bring them all into a design review, keep them all straight, see which direction you went in where. So, you know, really being able to get the most out of your design. So again, making some changes. We can make that divot and then see if we want to come back to a different color. Here we can sample. And this is right in line with Creo, giving you a lot of ways to do what you want. I think maybe a blue would be good, looks good to me. And from there, we can add a final checkpoint. So we've just explored a lot of different product ideas. We can toggle between them all very quickly and easily. If we had gone back to any of these and made sub-checkpoints, we'd be able to see exactly what direction we went in and where our starting point was. And then that gives us enough information to say, yeah, you know, out of everything that I've made here, out of all my ideas, I really like this one the best. I think this is going to be the best new product. I think this is the best new idea. And we can save those. So all we had to do was save the checkpoint, and now it's pushed those changes, that checkpoint that we wanted to finalize has been pushed into our actual model. So it's been taken, you know, from that just design session, that safe space to play around, and it's been brought to our model. So you don't have to remodel anything. It's exactly what you want. And if you didn't like the changes, you could simply hit exit and not save those changes, and it would revert you right back to the model you came in with, like nothing ever happened. And if you liked the changes, but you don't want to make them right now, you don't want to finalize anything before you talk to your team, you can save that design exploration session and then click through all those checkpoints whenever you want to. So coming back out, we're going to talk now about our greater reuse. So this is our Unite technology. So here we have our camera all ready to go, and now we want to move on to the next phase. So we're going to bring up these tracks, and you know, maybe we made these, we have these already in our assembly, but we want to bring in a piece to assemble, a piece to modify that is not from Creo. It's a SolidWorks file or a CATIA part or an NX part or a neutral file. So here we're going to use a SolidWorks part. We're going to see how easy it is to open. So Unite technology is what allows us to open and import and does all of that data translation. And so the difference between open and import is we can open this in the native format. So we can open it without converting it to a Creo file. And that's going to eliminate a lot of issues for us with data translation if you know, depending on how it was saved. You can see there's no load in time, it just pops right up. So if you look in the model tree, we can see that this is actually in the SolidWorks format, which means that we can reference it, we can put it into our assembly, we can use it to send that information down the line, but we don't have to worry about missing geometry or anything because there really was no data translation, it just opened right up. So very quick, very easy, very safe to do. But if we want to make changes to it, this is where we're going to convert it. So we're going to bring this in. We're going to tell Creo it's sheet metal, and we want to bring this into a Creo format now. So of course, with any non-native data, we're not going to have the whole full feature tree. It's just going to be, that piece is just kind of a blob. Well, that can be difficult if maybe you've changed platforms recently, or you've acquired a company that used SolidWorks or NX or something, and or maybe one of your suppliers has non-native data that you use all the time. Well, you're going to want to make edits to that. You don't want to use everything just as a blob. You're going to want to change those, update them, bring them into your designs, bring them with you as your products develop, and allow those pieces to develop with them. So what we're doing here is we're going to use our flexible modeling tool. So we are going to tell Creo that there's a geometry here that we want it to recognize, and that we want to do something to it. So right now we're selecting edges, and we want to move it. So we can simply drag it and move it out. We can select the distance, what displacement we want, so we can be pretty exact. And it's gonna do this no problem. And then this is going to show up in the model tree as a feature. So not a regular feature, but it's going to show up as a translation feature. So we've moved this. So we're going to make some more changes to it now that it's the right size for the product we've brought it into. We want to make some new changes. We want to make this circular pattern. We want to add another one now that it's longer, or now that we have another piece that we need to attach it to. So up at the top, we see on our flexible modeling tab, we have all of these different options to tell Creo what we want to do with it. So we're going to tell Creo this is a pattern, and there are more of this geometry around. And you see, we can now edit this pattern. So we can add an instance, we can delete an instance, we can change the spacing or the direction, a lot of stuff that you can do. And then when you hit OK, it does that update for you. So these are changes here that could take quite some time, to be able to recreate these, depending on what the pattern is, depending on what it is that you're doing. But this flexible modeling with the Unite technology allows us to really quickly and easily make pretty substantial edits. So of course, they're just geometry edits, so we can remove geometry. We can also, build on top of this still. So if we want to put a new hole in it, put a new feature in it, build something off of it parametrically, we can do that as well. And so this really does allow you to reuse products. Maybe it was built a long time ago and it's really resistant to change, so this is a great way to make those changes to it. Non-native data, of course, is a really great use for this technology, can make products really, really relevant for a long time, different parts and pieces. And of course, then if you do analysis on your parts and you have an analyst that needs a more simplified version, well, now the analyst, this is such a simple tool, the analyst could go in and he doesn't need to know how the rounds were created, how those holes were created. All he has to do is select the geometry and tell Creo what he wants to do. So if you wanted to delete it, you could do that. So, giving a really easy way to make simple geometry changes for anybody who might need to do that. So kind of putting the power in the hands of the people who need to use the part, they can do what they want. So coming back again, switching gears one more time, we're going to come out into our replacing assumptions with facts segment. So here we are back out to our assembly level, and we're going to look at bringing different kinds of data into our piece. So we're going to open this gripper assembly, and we're going to look at how this is related to the real world. So making a digital twin, if you've heard that term here, we're going to bring in some suppressed objects. And this is where we're going to connect our digital gripper to our physical gripper. So if we have this product out already and we're looking to do a new version, if this is, we've built a prototype and we were able to test it, somehow, there's a physical gripper in the real world. We run tests on it, there are sensors on it, and we want to use that sensor data to make it a better product in the future, to correct changes or problems. So here you see we've brought in all of these different parts that we've labeled as a sensor. And so all that means is it's a simple shape, it's a cylinder, it's a square, that we've made in another as a separate part. And we have an option in Creo to tell it that we want to make it a sensor. And then when we come back into our assembly level, back to the piece that we want to sensor up, we can say sensor info and setup, and we can bring those sensors in. So that insert sensor button, that's what's going to load it in and tell this assembly, I want to use this part that I'm bringing in as a sensor. And then that's going to allow us to connect it to data in the real world, to a sensor in the real world. So here we have a list of all our sensor info and setup. You can see that we have the name of our sensor and the unique name and what type of data that you're bringing in. So here we have all of our little notes that display exactly what those sensors are measuring. So this is based off a snapshot in time, but we'll see we can run through a whole series of movements if we need to. So coming up to our ThingWorx display. So this is one of our other products, PTC's ThingWorx, and this is the technology that we use to connect all of our smart connected objects. Everything that's sensored up, we can take that data and we can make it very impactful by visualizing it in real ways. Well, now we can connect Creo to ThingWorx. So as this live data is coming off of a product that's in use, of a product that's being tested, we can actually bring that right into Creo. And if you don't have ThingWorx, if you just want to use this using simple data sheets, you can do that as well. So here we just have told Creo exactly which sensor goes to which data, and now we can use this information. We can emulate the movements in real life onto this digital twin. So we're going to be able to see the full range of motion, the full conditions that everything is under. We can run it through and to see which ones are out of range, which ones are going to cause a problem, which ones cause interference. And now we're able to use that data to make a better product. And replacing assumptions with facts, that really comes in because we can assume that this gripper is going to go through whatever range of motion or whatever series of movements, or it's going to be exposed to these forces or under these loads. But those are, assumptions. They're based off of other grippers, different products, just general engineering knowledge of what's going to happen. But replacing those assumptions with the facts of what's actually happening in real life, of what our real life gripper is going through, and connecting that and bringing that data right in, that's where you're going to be able to get really great results from your product information. And so now we're coming into Simulate. So we have one already set up, but a Simulate study is easy to do. Simulate is one of our extensions for FEA analysis, and it's easy to use. It's high accuracy, and you can have really great results. So here we see all of our grippers are under the stress, displacement, principal stresses, and all this information is taken right from that data that we brought in. So we didn't have to set up conditions to set up the Simulate session. All we had to do was tell it, we have these loads in these places and they're reading this data. Tell me what that's going to look like in terms of stresses and displacement on my model. And Creo is able to do that very simply and easily. So now we're able to see, okay, make a decision. Is this good? Is this good to move on? Can we do better? Is there anything that we need to change to get you to that best, highest quality product that you can? So that wraps up my demonstration. Cassie, if I could pass it back to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Emily, for that presentation. I really appreciate that. I hope that this gives you an idea of why you should choose Creo over other CAD systems. Go out to our Creo page to find packaging and pricing options. I do want to mention right now, too, that we have a buy one, get one 50% off when you commit to a 2-year subscription with Creo licenses. This also applies to seats of MathCAD if your team is looking to add math software licenses to your team. This offer is only valid through the end of September, so jump on the offer now before it's too late. I'll also send the link out to you if you need to find more information about the offer in the follow-up email I'll be sending out. So thank you again, everybody, and have a great rest.